Live. Yes.
The StreamYard thing, it's going to be on there just for now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade it and put my actual logo up there soon. I just want to get this free one out the way because we can mess around with it. So right now we are live and we're going to wait for a couple of minutes before we get started. I see some people are tuning in as we speak. If you are tuning into this wonderful thing called Blurred Talking Blurred, then by all means, if you have something that you would like to ask us as far as like any type of nerd questions, please put it in the comment box. I will bring those questions up to the full screen and we will answer them to the best of our knowledge if we know what you're talking about. Because even though we are nerds in our own right, there are some things that we may have not touched on just yet. So we're going to give it a few minutes for people to join in. But other than that, guys, I hope you are doing well on your wonderful Saturday. It is Saturday, I believe. I know time has been slipping from everybody because I don't know what day it is half the time because I'm always stuck in the house. So, and real quick, if you have Monica Haynes says hi. Hey, baby.
Hi, Monica.
So, like I said, we're just waiting on our other guests to get here, and then we're going to start the show. We're going to also wait for a couple more folks to get here as well. And this is streaming on numerous pages, I believe. So,
I used to think I was a nerd LJ too before I started going to nerd slams. And then I realized, I don't know, I might have to rethink this whole nerd.
No. You are a nerd. You are very much a nerd. Do not say that you are not a nerd because it always just depends on the topic. Hold up. I think we got our guest in here.
After my third nerd slam, I was like, nah, this ain't the life
for me. All right, Moses West.
Yo.
All right. So we're going to give it maybe one more minute. We're going to get everybody tuned in, and then I'm going to lay out some ground rules, and then we're going to talk because we got three wonderful, beautiful black people in this room going to talk about some nerd stuff, and we're going to have fun with it, and it's going to be dope. It's going to be dope. Now, shout out to Law Bullock who tuned in. He said hello there. If you are in our comment page and looking at this page, please share it with your friends because even though this is basically nerd stuff, it's not going to be all cartoons and comic books. Because when it comes to nerd, we may be talking about some black movies. We may be talking about some music. We may be talking about a lot of things that we feel that we are very much so nerds in. But if you have any questions you want to ask us dealing with any one of those topics, please put it in the comment box so that way we can address it amongst ourselves and talk as a group. And we may have fun. We may all agree. We may debate a little bit. That's the whole point of this whole shindig. Blerds talking blerds. So I think we'll go ahead and get started. So everybody, once again, thank you for tuning in. My name is El'Ja Bowens. If you can look to my left or right, whichever way I'm pointing right now, in the middle is the wonderful, beautiful Ebony Payne-English. Say what's up to him, Ebony.
Hey, everybody. Peace and blessings. It's Ebony Payne-English.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best. To not let my daughter have a cameo, but she may. Mahogany Rose may be
in. And that's her, a wonderful, wonderful friend, fantastic artist, Moses West. Go ahead and talk to the people, Mo, real quick.
The wonderful and beautiful Moses. I feel like I should have got a wonderful, beautiful shout out.
You're okay. You're the wonderful, beautiful Moses. I apologize, guys. The wonderful, beautiful, very, very handsome and sleek Moses West. How art thou?
What up, bro? I'm ready.
Killer. All right, let's get it. So, once again, guys, this is the first time we're doing this show. So, if this goes well, we may be doing more of these on a monthly basis, or this is going to be the first and the last time we do this. So, I'm going to let you guys know this is very much somewhat unscripted, basically meaning that whatever the artists or people say, about their particular thing, that's how they feel. I am not going to filter them. We're just going to talk about nerd stuff and we're going to have fun doing it because I feel that as a community, this is one of the things that help us cope with what's going on during COVID-19. At this particular moment, I should be doing a nerd slam right now at a convention, but of course, some conventions got canceled and everything of that nature. But in the midst of my friends, them coming down and featuring sometime last month, we had a discussion from that point in this month about wanting to do something live on Facebook, just talking about nerd stuff. And we said we was all with it. So here we are bringing y'all Blerds Talking Blurred. But this name may change after today because I have a dope name that I'm gonna reach out to them about later. So what we're gonna do real quick is I'm just gonna open up the floor for one particular question. I do got some topics that we're gonna talk about as blurs on this page, but I do have some topics that we're gonna get into. But I just want to ask a question, and I'm gonna start with Moses first. So Moses, your own definition. What do you how do you define yourself as a blurred, and what does the term blurred mean to you?
I think it's just I, it ain't deep to me. It's just black nerd, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's being involved in a lot of fantasy culture, a lot of um, made up worlds, and just being interested in that kind of stuff. Is being able to read. That's what it is. It's black people like to read nonfiction. Simple as that.
All right. That's a good answer. I like that. I like that. There's no right or wrong answer. It's what how you feel about it. So
Black people that fiction, not nonfiction.
all right, bet. So Ebony Payne, well, what's your thoughts about being a blurred, and what does blur mean to you?
In regards to being a blurred, to me, it's a black person that subscribes to like reappropriating terms that are meant to insult or harm us. So like for me, growing up and being labeled a nerd was not like a term of endearment. It was like everybody was just I was awkward, and I liked comic books and climbing trees and reading nonfiction. Actually, Moses, like my first novel was an autobiography of Malcolm X. I was in the 3rd grade. It didn't go over well. That's what I was reading, and I don't know. It was just interesting. So like I grew to blurdism as just like finding a place where I identify with the interest of like minds that happen to be black. So yeah, that's what it means to me.
Nice. So I definitely appreciate everybody's input on blur. Like with me, I think blur. If you go back to it, the most notable first ever blurred or was considered a blur, they say, was Stephen Urkel from Family Matters. They say he's the first person to no, right? So they say that he was the first person to embrace the whole thing of being a nerd, had his suspenders, being very knowledgeable, dealing with calculating and other stuff. And I guess the term just nerd basically deals with like by term in a sense, anybody that's very knowledgeable like video games, comic books, Dungeons and Dragons per se. But I think the term literally just deals with anybody that's like real knowledgeable on certain things. So there was a discussion I had. I'm not going to bring up the people because I may have to work with them later in life. But I went to a Comic-Con recently last year. There was this panel about blurs, and I had made a comment about them what they do. Saying I appreciate what they do as far as people, and they don't dictate what's being a nerd and what's not, because there's been plenty of events where people so-called nerd shame, and they tell you you're not a nerd because you don't know these certain things. So people try to put a cap on certain stuff. So when I was thanking them for that, one of the main guy's accomplice, I guess to say, or his partner, was trying to tell me that I didn't know what I was talking about, because he said, you're talking about geekdom. You're not talking about being a nerd. And I was like, technically, I'm right when I'm saying, because if you talk about geek, you're talking about science fiction and everything like that, because that's what geeks deal with. They deal with science and everything of that nature. But I didn't want to go that route because it would have been a whole debate and everything like that. But yeah, so I appreciate everybody's how they feel about being a blurred and their topic on blurred, because that was like the icebreaker. So that way everybody knows what to talk about. Now, I have a few things that I want to bring up to the group. Hopefully, y'all got some stuff y'all want to bring up to the group. We're just gonna talk about as blurs that we are. Sound good? All right. So here we go. First topic of discussion coming from LJ. So this is actually dealing with a character from a horror movie known as Candyman. That's where we're going to start with Candyman.
Okay.
So if you remember, yeah. So number one, you got the movie getting ready to come out soon. Shout out to Jordan Peele, Tony Todd, and everybody that's involved in the movie. One of the biggest things that I wanted to bring this question up because I don't think it was brought up enough about the movie or the character himself. So the main thing they stress about in the first Candyman was there's this guy that was basically killed during slavery, got his hand and then with a rusty saw, and then they smeared honey on him. Of course, the bees stung him, passed away, became this myth in the Cabrini Green projects. You say his name in the mirror 5 times. Candyman comes to life, starts killing you, yada yada yada. So a lot of people didn't really see the second movie, but the second movie basically expanded on why he was doing what he did, which was basically the reason that he got murdered in the first place was because he was sleeping with the master's daughter, and he was a famous painter. And what ended up happening when the master found out about that, they chased him out the house. Of course, they sawed off the hand with the rusty razor, smeared honey on him, bees stung him, killed him, and that's it. But he come to find out the reason he kept going after these women that was familiar to him was because they were all part of his bloodline. And in the second part, the woman that he was trying to, of course, kill or whatever he's trying to do with her, ended up being like the last of the bloodline because he ended up getting the woman that he was sleeping with. So he had a child, which the bloodline kept going, but they made sure to erase that from history. So, knowing that about Candyman, do you feel that Candyman is a true villain in a sense of movie monsters and everything of that nature? Or do you feel he was just a hero, or do you feel he's a hero of justice just trying to close out the chapter that was written in his life that never got finished? And any one of y'all can feel free to jump in and start off.
I mean, well, I think that no villain is really just a villain. So, I mean, all of the villains in Arkham Asylum, you know what I'm saying, have their own little story about how they got like that. I mean, and in some cases, even the hero does villainous things. You know, when for instance, when Superman found out Lois Lane had a baby, he left Earth. You know what I'm talking about? Some say he was protecting his family. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on whether you're the mama that got to raise his kid up in their home. But I digress. I think heroism and villainy are things that are not exclusive. Like you can be both. I think Batman is both.
Okay, I like that. That's a whole other discussion we can talk about later. Moses, what are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like he's more of a villain? Do you feel like he's hero of justice, or do you just have your own spin on what you think?
Is Candyman killing black people?
Say that one more time.
I say, is Candyman killing black people?
In a few of the movies he have, I mean, he's been kind of an equal opportunity killer.
But then he can't necessarily be the villain. That's why Candyman can't totally be the villain, because he don't fuck with you unless you fuck with him. Like, literally got a to kill you. You know, like if he over there chilling, like he can't even come in unless you go in the mirror and call him. So you basically begging for him to kill you. And all he's doing is granting your services, you know. In the mirror saying Candyman 5 times unless you want to get killed. And am I really the villain? It's almost like he's almost like Dr. Kevorkian, you know. You got to come
So let me use straight. So you're basically saying that nobody will be in a situation that they were put in unless they put themselves in that situation. So basically, you have not unless you because you asked not. So if you want to get murdered, then that's why you called on them. So you can't get mad at the consequences. That's basically what you're saying.
The legend. Everybody tell you if you go in the mirror and say Candyman so many times, he's coming to kill you. Nobody's making these people go in the mirror and say this. These people are voluntarily walking to the mirror, saying Candyman 5 times. So, and then it's such a cool clause because it can't be no accident. You got to say this 5 times. We know this is on purpose. It ain't no accident like hey, the Candyman is outside. If you want to get something from the Candyman, you got to go to the Candyman. That's only 3 times. If you say it 5 times, you are purposely calling it. So that is 100% your fault.
Yeah.
How can he be the villain? Like I said, he's like
True.
people who want to die just come to him and say, "Hey, come and kill me, Candyman."
He could be a hero.
Could be a hero.
Like it's
But the only
euthanasia.
Candyman that's iffy is that you don't really get to change your mind. He don't make you know what I'm saying. It's like Uber. If you call the Uber, they gonna charge you. You can't let the Uber get there and be like, you know what, I decided I don't want this anymore. You know.
I appreciate it.
Well, I gotta kill you, man, or at least try. That's up to you to get away. I didn't ask to be here, you know.
I get that. I appreciate it. Nice. So, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pass it to you, Ebony, because I know there was something we talked about earlier, and you may have other stuff you want to put to the table too. So I'm gonna pass it off to you to throw out a question on the table so we can discuss it.
Okay, so yeah, I think this is a good time since we're talking about Candyman and the toxic way in which he's been handled, considering everybody that got it asked for it. You know what I'm talking about? I feel like the Jean Grey Cyclops situation. Yes, Candyman has unresolved trauma that he needs to deal with. Yes, Monica. I feel you. That's how I feel about the situation. Nobody is just one thing. People are layered subjects, right? So I feel the same way about the Jean Grey Cyclops relationship. I feel like people have glorified this love affair, but I feel like it's the most toxic relationship Cyclops has ever had, and that's saying a lot because he done been through some things. But I feel like Jean Grey is the comic book character that everybody wants to paint as a hero. But, I mean, she's a classic example of being both things. I think she definitely was villainous towards Cyclops. I feel like the situation with her and Wolverine was toxic to Wolverine. I feel like she eventually ends up killing Cyclops, right? The way that relationship ended is she murks him, right? But the whole situation with Wolverine, like she was stringing him along all that time. She was flirting with him. She was kissing him. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that probably happened that they didn't talk about, And then she was like wiped up with the leader of the X-Men, the team captain. Like, how is that supposed to process correctly with someone like Wolverine who has been through enough trauma in his life and has identity issues? How that is saying a lot? Yes, it is saying a lot, but is it facts or lies? You know what I'm saying? She was not faithful to the person that she was publicly claiming, and then she had a side dude that was madly in love with her. You know what I'm saying? That she was like, we could never be together, but I still want the D. I think that it was toxic. I think that was toxic.
Oh wow! So I guess my spin on that would be ain't no spin on it. I mean, what D? Ain't nothing you can say about it. But I think her situation is so that brings up an interesting point. So with the whole thing, as far as like the Phoenix Force or whatever it is, how it picks out the people it wants to, I guess, be a part of and everything like that. It has to be based off. No, ain't even that. I'm not going to say the shadow stuff because I know the Phoenix Force itself has been through other types of mutants and has been a part of people like the Phoenix Five. So, but I think that for that to happen, there has to always be some underlying issue with the mutant or person that it deals with. So I agree with you to the fact that if she knew she liked Wolverine and she's still being with Cyclops, then she should have
And
just Nick being
eventually, she works
or
him.
found something to do with it. So it's very interesting to bring that up. And then like even with Cyclops himself, like Cyclops had enough issues that they didn't
That's what
really
I'm
expand
saying.
on until later after she died, and then they did like the X-Men versus Avengers arc where he was basically sending kids out to fight and didn't care about it. But like that's a whole other issue and everything. But I think even with Cyclops, I think Cyclops is more so. I think Cyclops was more dependent on her than she was dependent on him.
Well, that's what made it toxic, right? It's
Yeah,
because
and I agree with you.
yeah, it's like it was this codependency that he developed with her, and it was all based on a lie, on a fallacy. Monica, you a real one. It was based on a fallacy. You know what I'm saying? Like he had this idea of her that did not exist, and she did not burst the bubble. Never once was she like, I'm really not who you think I am. Like, and she wasn't. What's up, Josephus? She wasn't just like with Wolverine when she was Phoenix. I think that needs to be clear. Is that she was
Oh yeah, she
always
was messing with Wolverine when she was just regular Jean Grey. Yeah, I agree.
yeah. So she like to blame it on Phoenix. Phoenix wants to be with Wolverine. That's no. That happened before that even happened to her.
All right. What you got any thoughts on this, Moses?
I think Cyclops is a duck.
He is.
When you
But
get
he
a
is. But that don't mean she gotta duck him.
now, when you get a duck, you make a quack. It's part of because what happens is I think she's actually in love with Wolverine, but Wolverine don't put up with the bullshit. So you got to go with with the guy who's gonna be more, you got to put the trump because he's gonna let her act like she want to act. Like Wolverine gonna put it in check. Like, look here, when you on that type of time, he love to lead. So, you're like, if you on this time, I'm up and out of here. But the thing about Cyclops, he gonna be with her regardless. He don't care what she do. He don't care how many times she die and come back. If she do die, he'll get a clone of her and then date her.
Yeah.
That's how Cable got here. The man is obsessed. He probably needs to know it. Yeah, he's the most character of all time. He just ain't got no.
Like I said, like I was saying, like you don't really see Cyclops really like be something more. It's like, but by that time he's already like emotionally distraught when he X-Men versus Avengers arc when he starts like literally trying to fight people, and he's sending kids out there, don't care about what happens, and Wolverine had to try to check him, and he just like Wolverine like they're kids, and then Cyclops was like, so if they got powers and they're old enough to fight, it's just like, but
see, with Cyclops though, Cyclops is trained to be the general. So a military general, he's not gonna. I never understood why either of them put up with her inconsistency, but there you go. She's so inconsistent. And
because Cyclops is.
How can you build anything with someone who doesn't give you consistency, stability, and security? You know what I'm saying? She wasn't able to provide any of them with either of those. And they chased her vehemently. But they be out here winning them. If you're some people say men don't speak nice, so that may apply to superheroes as well. So maybe she knew what was up. She had two superheroes looking after her well-being. I don't got none. So yeah, I should be more like your friends. What I'm saying, I was just acknowledging the fact that her behavior is toxic.
Yeah, I agree, and I think we're all in agreement on it. Especially Moses saying that Cyclops is a duck, and a quack, all that. I'm with it.
You also got to take into consideration the power of white vagina. Black vagina don't know how to give it up, and that's that. Cyclops was dating the White Queen at one point, wasn't he?
I'm talking about old girl. I know you're talking about what's her name slipped my mind right now.
Emma Frost. He was with Emma
Frost. Yes. I think he was.
Yeah. So he probably got tired of it. It looked like he went and got him some strange for a second, but he ended up coming back. think that was
I'm just saying, yeah, Wolverine dated too. Wolverine dated a lot of people in the Marvel universe that nobody don't know about. Like, but that's a whole other story. That's a whole other story.
Wolverine have his whole listen.
no.
Wolverine has his whole life going on. He's a bachelor.
Wolverine had.
Situation.
I hate to say the like word. Wolverine had holes in different area codes. I'm just
Yes,
we gonna be real. So,
and that's
so,
both the storylines.
so,
I
all right.
like a G. I'm proud of him. I like Wolverine.
Oh, the non-damsel in distress, yes.
Yeah. That is a good
Yes.
a plot device.
Yes, I do. And that's why she didn't have layers. That's why eventually she had no layers. Is because they transferred her from a character to a plot device. It's from a actual like interactive being in the universe to a problem that everybody was trying to solve. So I agree.
Yeah.
Well, all the X-Men, you got to think about the original X-Men. They were the most trash team on the planet Earth. And Cyclops is like such a strong one, you know, because if you think about their power, all right, how you gonna fight crime with these niggas? You got who can flip. He can flip. He wasn't even blue back. He was just weird. Then you had Angel. His only powers that he got some wings. Like how you gonna fight? You know what I'm saying? All you do is run away with the wings. And then you had Jean Grey.
But that's important. Get him to safety. The wings, get him to safety. Injured troops off the field.
Yeah, but how we going? That's great for retrieving. But how are we going to fight these wings?
They too big to fight with the wings. They heavy.
So they basically had to modify all of the X-Men. They had to turn Blue Beast super blue and smart and furry, and you know, give him some depth because they were trash. They had to make Jean Grey the Phoenix. They had to make Angel the Archangel. Who else was on that team?
Yeah.
The first squad, I think it was just Cyclops, Jean Grey, Angel, Beast, and it was somebody else. Can't remember who the fifth person was in the original squad.
Even they tried to give him a little edge after House. Like they tried to make him like he was bad, but he still looked like a duck trying to be a bad, you know.
We've talked about this before, Moses.
Okay, we gonna move to something else. I think let's get other phones scared. I'm sorry you brought up Scott Summers, man.
Hey,
all right, so Moses,
not even talk about it.
All right, hey, Moses, so I'm passing you real quick, man, so you can bring up a topic. Unless you want to pass, just want to let me bring up something else. I'm gonna bring it up. You bring a topic to the table. Before you say anything,
I'm gonna go. Okay.
Real quick, for everybody that just tuned in, thank you, Iceman. Iceman was the last person. For everybody just tuned in, for everybody that's tuning in the comments, if y'all have any questions y'all want us to chime in on, please put it in the comments. We will bring it up as a group, and we will talk those questions out. We got topics we want to talk about, but y'all may want to ask us something just to get our valued opinion on it. So, hey, Mo, you said you're gonna pass your turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass my turn, but just to round out the X, how they all like I think trash. They couldn't do nothing like giving no power, so they just made Omega level mutant for absolutely nothing. There's nothing about ice. Just ice.
Moses is never easily impressed with anyone.
He's not.
In the superhero world, he'd be like, superheroes, what's so simple about it?
This basically my answer to Neil. You know, because Neil was saying, do you think it was a plot device to make her better, you know, to kind of change her character? They changed all of their characters, every last one of them, because it was trash. Okay.
All right. So, random question, and I want to know y'all reasons why. So, as y'all know, they have been producing a lot of TV shows lately. Some based off books, some based off anime or favorite cartoons, some remakes of old school cartoon shows, some based on video games. So at the current moment, everybody chime in. You can do one or two. What is one of your favorite shows or movies that has came out within the past, let's say, since November? That way we give it some time. November till now that you've seen.
I have been really unimpressed with new stuff.
Really? Okay. Go ahead. Speak your piece. Go ahead.
Let's see. You go, Moses. I think.
What was the question again? I missed the question. I had.
Like, has there been any like new TV show, any like movie, book, game, or anything that you feel has impressed you within the past 6 months?
What was the name of that show?
So I'm not really good at dating at all. But I thought the Witcher was cool. I
The
don't know how
Witcher.
long.
I have not seen that show yet.
I thought
I know about the game a little bit, but I don't know like how the show is. I keep hearing about it, but it's like, but like I never played the game, so I don't know about the show. So I'm not gonna say it's a bad show, but like, what was so dope about The Witcher?
and it's pretty good. Witcher is pretty good. And the Watchmen was amazing.
Oh, okay. The Watchmen was incredible.
Yeah.
I figured out a show too. Go ahead.
And what else? What else is good? I'm playing this video game. I don't like the game, Wolfenstein 3, whatever. But I just get to kill Nazis, and I love just going around killing Nazis. The storyline is not good, but I can't stop playing. It's like shoot everybody with a swastika. That's all I'm digging in fans. That's when.
Got you. Real quick before we go to Ebony, because I know Ebony said she has something. Shout out to whoever's playing the soundtrack on your end, because that children's music is like making me smile right now.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I won't look. I literally set my alarm. I literally set an alarm today in my mind to get up this morning to watch CNN because CNN had the ABCs of COVID-19 and they had the cast of Sesame Street on there. I literally watched it.
Way I can get her to let me. I have to do it, and I can't mute. I can't mute it because then y'all.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. I was just messing with you. So, what was the show that you were talking about?
So yes, I agree with Moses that Watchmen is probably the best thing since November that I could even think of. But there's this new cartoon called The Midnight Gospel on Netflix. Oh, I'm smitten. It's called The Midnight Gospel, and it's everything I want in a cartoon.
Okay.
And it's like super dope. It dropped this month.
Is it?
I want to say like 3 days ago. And it's incredible. Like it's about portal jumping and like traveling different planets and like creating realities, like choosing the reality you want to step into, but still having to go through that journey. And it's just like by the time I got to episode 3, I was just like, I think this is my favorite new cartoon. Like this is something I would watch, like binge watch with my friends for real. So I don't want to not mention that because they had to work real hard. What? Is it that lit? Yes, it's that lit. It's very lit, Neil. It's very lit. You would like it.
Is it anime?
It's so the style of cartoon is like the same animation style of Rick and Morty.
Okay. I can ride with it.
Yes, so I prefer it to Rick and Morty. Because, like, for me, Rick and Morty is just very dark. And like you were saying earlier about Black people liking to read fiction, a lot of that has to do with our need for escapism due to the realities of being Black in America, especially being Black in the South in America. So like we use a lot of escapism, like religion, and fiction and things of that nature, sports, just like to kind of like just extract us from our reality for that time being, for that moment. So, but Rick and Morty was so dark for me, similar to BoJack Horseman. So I really couldn't get into them, although they were well written, brilliantly written. It's just so much sadness that I couldn't get to it. But,
oh yeah, Harley Quinn is the shit, Shawan. I'm
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I got a cat.
Okay, Shawana, is Harley Quinn a villain?
Are you bringing back up the first question I asked about?
Yes.
I see what you did. I see what you did there. You got circle it complete. I see it. I see it.
But yeah, it's the Midnight Gospel. It's like it has the writing genius of Rick and Morty, but still like the ease and the peacefulness of the Boondocks. Like the Boondocks, for me, the reason I loved it so much was because like it talked about like some serious topics, but you were still able to find peace and joy. Like it still gave me my escapism I crave, because I found peace and joy watching it. So that's how I feel about the Midnight Gospel. And Shawana said yep and no about Harley Quinn. Nobody's one thing.
Did you watch the Harley Quinn animated series, LJ?
Not yet. I'm still going. So I just literally got finished watching. So I'm big on like a lot of stuff, and I try to catch up on like some animes. I try to catch up on like other shows as well. But like one show I just finished based off a video game that I used to play like a long time ago was so Netflix got this show called Castlevania, which was American made. It looks like it's an anime, but it's American made based off the game dealing with the Belmont family and Dracula and everything like that. And like the writing in that show, how they like took a video game and made like such an extensive story behind it, as it deals with like vampires, but also deals with like religion and how certain people were doing during that time, especially like the Crusades and stuff like that, is like amazing to me, just to see how writers put the effort into doing those things. Another show that I actually watched recently or started back on, so on Hulu has this show that they started based off of the books by Stephen King called Castle Rock. And Castle Rock is basically they take characters or the area dealing with like certain Stephen King characters, like characters from there, like Shawshank Redemption, Pennywise, Needful Things, a lot of these books, and they bring them into like one universe where they all kind of tie in. So they just did this second season based off of Annie Wilkes, who is a woman that went crazy in the movie Misery, when she kidnapped the author and did everything she did with him. But like that movie, like that show in itself is amazing for me. Then as far as we talk about anime, then like My Hero Academia has been, I just finished season 4 of that. That's like some of the best writing I've seen, because it made me think about stuff I did, minus the superpower stick and everything like that. Yeah, man. I mean, those are the shows that I've currently watched. And then my wife got me watching this thing called Aerial America, where you basically learn about cities through a drone. And yeah, no nerd stuff. Trying to learn about the areas I want to go to. We watched one about Florida today. So they had some amazing facts about Florida on it.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna check it out. So, hey, I can go back and watch this, right? So if I want to.
Yeah, you can go back and watch this. Neil, the show's called Castle Rock.
Castle Rock.
That's what I was trying.
Yeah, Castle Rock.
Yeah.
They got season 1 and season 2, and they literally tie in almost every Stephen King story in like that show for the first 2 seasons. You just got to know some of the books in order to know what they're talking about.
Well, I hope it's good, because I'm about ready to cancel Hulu.
So another thing you can work on Hulu, because Hulu got a couple of shows. Like I heard everybody talk about Little Fires Everywhere. I haven't seen it yet, but Hulu got a couple of good shows that's on there. We stumbled across this movie series called Into the Dark. But the only way you can watch these movies is if you like science fiction and somewhat horror. But they literally have a movie that comes out every month based off a holiday. So like they have movies in January come out based on New Year's, and February they have a movie based on Valentine's Day. March they'll have something based on St. Patrick's Day. April, June, July. Literally every month represents a holiday within that month. So they literally write movies based on a holiday each month, and sometimes they go good, sometimes they're but the majority of the movies we've watched have been pretty good. They did one movie called Puka. They did a second one recently, but they did a movie called Puka, and like that's one of the best movies I've seen them put together, based on a situation dealing with like mental health and relationships, but you won't know about it until it starts getting further into the movie. But it's like stuff like that. Like I'm a sucker for good writing. If you have a good story and the writing like makes sense in the story, I'm good to it. If not, I can go and cancel it very quickly. So
Right.
and also shout out to Unsung. If you never seen Unsung on TV One, if you want to learn about artists and what to do and what not to do in the music industry, Unsung always has some good stories. They just did their season finale on Goody Mob, and that was pretty good. That's all I have. I'm not going more, but I don't want to give y'all like everything I got. I'll be talking all day about favorite shows and stuff. So.
Well, you just put me on, so I'm good. I'm glad.
Well, y'all didn't put me on. So somebody asked me what do we know about Agretsuko? I'm gonna tell you right now, nothing yet. I will get onto that because I'm literally still catching up on anime, and believe it or not, I've been trying to catch up on older anime than for me.
Okay.
I've been trying to catch up on.
No, I'm glad that the subject of anime has come up.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm leading you to it. I'm walking you through. But I try to catch up on older anime than some of the newer anime. The only reason because there's a lot of older anime that have been out that a lot of people don't know about. Like for example, Netflix produced this anime called Baki, which Baki is dope and violent at the same time. If you like grappling and MMA style fighting along another one. But a lot of people know about Baki based on this arc they're doing, but they don't know about the earlier arcs back when they started in the 90s when Baki was like 13. Like the one that they have on Netflix now is like he's 17 or 18. So I try to catch up on the older ones before I catch up on the newer ones. Because I saw Baki and then I realized there was a whole another story before that. Now I'm trying to catch up on those before I get into something else. But speaking of anime, we now pass it to Ebony because Ebony seems like she has something to say about some anime, and we're all for it. So go for it.
Okay, Shawanda, I haven't gotten into Agretsuko yet. Is that? But I do know one of my students did their hair in a way from that, and so I stuck a pin in it since the hair is their way, and that's the reference they use. So I'm gonna come back to it. But like for me, something as a Black nerd I want to talk about, which when I talk about it with my Japanese friends, like I get like varied responses. I guess just because of the way that Japan is set up culturally in regards to European influence and how that's perceived. But for me, as an American who got into anime and manga, I feel like it's been greatly whitewashed. I feel like the main characters in anime have strong European features by the time it get this way. And I feel like nobody's talking about it, and I want to know why. Like, I want to know why when you go Super Saiyan or whatever, you got to have blonde hair and blue eyes. And that's your most powerful state. I want to know why the main character in Death Note is European. Like, I want to know why Naruto has European features. Like, I want to know why all these characters, Sailor Moon, like, is a white girl. I want to know why Pokemon, like Ash Ketchum, has very European features. Like, I just want to know. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, anime is a major contribution to popular culture. And we all know that it is not a European-based art form. And so I'd like to just discuss that. Like, am I the only one? Am I tripping? Can I not just enjoy good things? But I just feel like, what's up?
I don't think you're tripping on it. I gotta put this right here real quick because V Nail,
Ash
he
is
says Ash is
debatable.
debatable. So
Ash Ketchum is
that,
debatable.
that's a whole other story. We'll talk about that later. I think it's really hard to say because like I don't know, it's like the characters themselves, like Dragon Ball, for example. It's literally Dragon Ball is one of the ones I always take a grain of salt because they literally name most of their characters after like vegetables or instruments or something like that, or crazy crazy stuff. For example, like they had one season where like they're like I had a baby. So they had Bibbidi Bobbidi and Boo in Dragon Ball, but it worked out the way it needed to work for what it needed to be. But it's hard to debate because like you gotta know like because for to answer that question you have to know the mindset of why they made the characters the way they did. Like I get what you're saying, like if with the Asian culture, why are you making certain characters with European features? Why not make them with Asian features supposed to be set in a certain time, which goes to where they dictate everything. I think there's an anime that came out on Netflix, which by the way, definitely needs to be talked about called Cannon Busters. And Cannon Busters literally was drawn, I think, was illustrated by a black artist that made it that way. And they literally you can tell how they literally made some of the artists that their characters were formed. So they literally drew the characters the way they need to draw the characters. So for what you're saying with that, I get it because they literally made characters. If you look at them, you can see they may fit a certain demographic. But as far as like why they would draw the characters the way they draw it, I don't have a time in it to say I know why because I don't, but I can see where the frustration would come in at with it, if that makes sense. And I know Moses ain't gonna chime in on it because Moses don't watch anime.
So
We acknowledge it, Tina.
so anyway, that makes sense what you're saying, LJ. And one thing I can apply about Avatar, The Last Airbender, is that I feel like they did the animators, the producers, and the writers did an excellent job of making sure that the Asian influence remained in that anime when it comes to how the characters look and respond. Like I don't understand how it could be that hard to get it right. And I don't understand when I go back looking through the culture and the history of it, nowhere in there do I find Europeanism. So it caught me off guard. I was just like, what is this doing here? You know what I'm saying? Because even if you go back to mangas, like the European influence doesn't start being as prevalent until American youth started like getting heavy into it. And then all of a sudden the look of the character started changing. And I don't know, that feels whack. I think it's
oh no,
question.
Go ahead.
Do white people get to say I want some characters that look like?
Yeah.
Say it one more time.
Do white people get to say I want characters that look like me?
Yeah. I think so, yes.
So
Like I said, it depends on the animators and what they're asking for. Like I can't, like I said, it's because like perfect example. Okay, Mortal Kombat. Let's talk about Mortal Kombat. Like if you look at Mortal Kombat in the sense of when they first started, and they just had human people doing it, they only had a certain amount of characters, but they appreciated the culture of kung fu movies. But because they didn't have a big budget when they first started the game, they had to go with what they got. After you see how they're doing everything now, when they make their characters, they literally try to make sure, at least facial feature wise, in certain aspects, they're representing characters based on their ethnicities. Sometimes the voice, they always get different people to do certain voices. Like the new one, they got this character named Gears, who's like this big black dude, which they got a black face model to do it to make him black, but he's voiced by a white person. But it depends on how they do it. But they try to make certain things reach out to the culture. So I guess it just depends on who's fitting the bill, and what they want when it
That's
comes
what
to
I mean, like
characters
the
they want.
producer.
But what I'm saying is, when y'all saying the anime, the Asian been whitewashed, but if the young white kids buying it, I think they just kind of,
I
trying to
mean,
be
young Japanese kids are
correct.
buying it too. They're buying it.
I know they buying it, but they
I think,
already got characters depicted.
and like I said, like for both cases, I agree. But like for what you're saying, I don't think it's hard to really say. Like I said, it seems like from the outside looking in, for most folks, I can see the argument where it says it's whitewashed. But then at the same time, for the Japan companies that are making these, they may have a reason why they're doing it. Even if you want to look at, for example, the Boondocks. Aaron Magruder literally when it said like his whole style of drawing the Boondocks was anime based. Literally. So if you look at if you want to like really bring up the argument with Boondocks, even though people see it as a cartoon, he literally seen it as an actual black made anime and drew it as such.
Yeah,
did the
but
cuts as such.
they weren't speaking
So,
in Japanese, and then none of his
and then like I
characters
said,
had Japanese names. What I'm saying is, if they're gonna be speaking in Japanese and have Japanese names, then why can't they be Japanese? I love you too, man.
I don't know about that shit either, Ben B.
Oh man. That's a valid question though, Moses. But that's a valid question, even if you don't watch it. So
me and Moses was just
I'm in total agreement.
the other day. You remember, Mo?
Yeah.
About how I met him.
Justin is my guy. I love Justin.
Yeah, he's dope. Yeah. I met Justin at Southern Fried when we were in Knoxville.
Yes, I did too. Yeah. Shout out to Southern Pride, everybody. So anyway. I'm sorry. This Hawaiian punch is great right now. I promise you, all this Hawaiian punch. That's all.
That cup is dope.
I want to do.
Shouts out to Tavis Brunson, by the way.
Yes. Shout out to Tab. But yeah, man. But it's just weird. But that brings up a good question with like particular anime. So you brought up Dragon Ball Z, but I'm gonna try to bring that back later because there's a question I'm gonna ask about Dragon Ball Z. The people that in the fan thing knows about Dragon Ball Z.
I have a whole theory about Dragon Ball Z as it relates to Europeanism.
we can definitely talk about that.
We don't have to talk about it. That's a private.
That's a debate. That's a whole other debate. We can do a whole show on that. So Moses just be there to be a timekeeper. All right, hey Mo. So even though you asked a question about that, did you have a question that you wanted to put to the table before I go to another question?
Well, since we bringing up Asian culture versus the European culture, how they like to mix the two. Often, these Asians, they don't want to be in our shit. Like, they definitely never want to be depicted as bad. When you watch their movies, like when you watch Ip Man and all that, there, it's always Western with his Western fighting style coming get beat up by the Asians, But they don't like to be the bad guy, which is why we still ain't got the Mandarin.
Oh my God!
But he's still mad about the win.
I'm not going to do this talk with you right. I am not doing this with you right now, Moses. We've already. All right.
You should have been prepared.
He is really mad about it.
If this was coming up. All right.
Man, I'm not going to do this with you. All right. So are we talking about this from the Mandarin perspective, or are we talking about this just from movies where the Asians are not the bad guys, or are the bad guys? What was the core question?
Asians are they pretty relevant in comic book culture, But when we depict them in movies, it's they don't want to be. I was blaming Marvel for a long time. Marvel just trying to get their money. And they don't like to be depicted as a bad guy. They only want to be the fucking hero in the movie. It took X-Men a minute, you know what I'm saying? But they went and got the girl to play Psylocke, and she was an agent. Had to be a hero.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, it's some beef there that I don't know nothing about, but I don't know if Europe and just too damn close to be have kind of fuckery going on. You know? I want to see my comic book because as a kid, especially when you grow up reading these books, you only dream that one day they think about this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when they make
Yeah.
it, and then they shit on your characters. It's upsetting. You know?
So
It
so
takes away
since
the
we're talking-
escapism from it. It takes you out of your escapism. Like,
Right, like when we be little, you know what I'm saying? We be kids and we be like, yo, what if Wesley Snipes played Blade? And you see that shit in real life, you go crazy.
yeah, you're
But
right.
they, I don't know who this was, but this Mandarin thing is so disappointing to me.
You
Yeah.
heard about it for a while.
Yeah. So no, so it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. So I agree with you when Iron Man 3 came out. I was mad hot about that. And well, that's a whole other thing. Like hold up. Iron Fist.
Like Iron Fist, trash,
Yes.
garbage,
Yeah.
whackness, get out of here. I hated that movie.
They messed that all
mad
up.
at RZA about that. To this day.
They messed that all up. All right, so no, she's talking about the Netflix show Iron Fist, not the man with the Iron Fist. I think she's talking about the show on Netflix, Iron Fist.
That was trash too.
Oh no, that was
and it was trash. Couldn't
like,
even finish it.
that was dumb to be plain and simple. That was bad casting. But so with the whole thing with the Mandarin, yeah, they dropped the ball on that for two reasons. One, the character who they had, the two characters they had played. Well, the person they had played it to begin with, it was kind of like he was supposed to be basing it off of the culture, but then he ended up being a fake for this other character that happened to be a minor character in the comic book for the extremists, for Iron Man extremists. So what they tried to do, which Marvel tried to clean it up in two ways, but they took a long time to do it. They did this one shot called All Hail the King that you can only find on the Thor DVD. You probably can find it on YouTube, where they said that the real Mandarin exists. So now what they're doing is they're doing the Shang-Chi movie and the Ten Rings, where they're actually trying to bring in a Mandarin. And Mia Moses actually was talking about this a few weeks ago. So if you know Shang-Chi, then you know the main bad guy for the Shang-Chi comic book was Fu Manchu. But because of copyright issues, because there was like Marvel had a character, but I think Flash Gordon ended up buying the copyrights and made Fu Manchu the main bad guy for Flash Gordon. They end up having to bring the Mandarin back to make him a bad guy for Shang-Chi. Yeah, so that way they could bring in an Asian bad guy, but they shouldn't have had to take all that, because when you think Iron Man to begin with, if you're a diehard comic book fan, then you know Iron Man's main villain was the Mandarin.
Right.
So to take that away and then make it a whole new person that's not even Asian to begin with, it ruins the image for the fans. And I know a lot of people say, well, it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they do what they want. It's not based off the comic book. But when you use the name,
no, they totally based off. That's bullshit.
Well,
yeah, but like I said, but you know, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's sort of like when they say loosely based on real events.
Like, yeah, so like when you might say based on a true story,
is loosely based on the comic.
Yeah, so they take elements from the comic books. So they want to try to keep stuff true to the comics in a sense, but they make their changes because it's a cinematic universe. It has nothing to do with the comic book. So that's why they had to revamp.
Film producers have a lot of power.
Can we admit that?
Yeah.
Looks a lot like Tony Stark.
Yeah. So B. Neal says that they're gonna try to get Zack Efron. No. To debunk that. No. So to debunk that, they're casting an Asian person. I can't remember his name, but they already cast an Asian person for Shang-Chi. They're literally taking the Shang-Chi approach. They're literally taking the Black Panther approach on Shang-Chi. That's literally what they're doing with that movie.
They got an Asian guy.
Efron played a real good bad guy though. When he played that serial killer that everybody was trying to make into some romantic sex symbol or whatever. When he played that guy, that villain, he was good at that.
Yeah, but what Marvel's doing, they're taking the Black Panther approach with Shang-Chi, and they're trying to get like an almost all Asian cast to be in it. So I know they picked an Asian person to be Shang-Chi. I just don't know who they're going to pick to be the Mandarin. But if they do it, I hope it makes Moses happy.
Brad Pitt.
If they do it, Moses, we'll go to the movies together. I'll drive to Jacksonville, Florida, and we can all go watch the movie as a family.
I'm with it.
Right. And it better be some good kung fu because Iron Fist kung fu was garbage.
It was so trash. It was so trash. Like how? Okay, my thing was I feel like the first season of Luke Cage, they did really well.
Oh my God!
Y'all can challenge me on that.
I agree.
No.
Luke Cage.
I was fine with Luke Cage. I was fine with Luke Cage in the first season. The second season, I was okay with it. The only reason I'm mad at the second season is because they took it to an arc at the ending that I always loved about Luke Cage when he becomes like gangster Luke Cage,
right?
But they can't finish it up.
That's
so
because they talking about. Yeah. That's me and Moses were talking about that. Is that part of the dynamic everybody loved about that comic series was the transformation, right? And the actual self-actualization and realization of what's really going on. But they got that so right, but they got Iron Fist so wrong, and I wasn't quite sure. I didn't know how that happened. Even season one of Jessica.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. So the thing that went wrong with, to me, this is my opinion. The thing that went wrong with Iron Fist, knowing about Iron Fist, it wasn't so much they got it wrong with the casting of Iron Fist.
Clearly,
that was the main issue. They got it literally with the casting of Iron Fist because, like, you can't put people in a role where they're not per se physically up for the role, and you try to throw like all this stuff on them. And normally they do a better job of how they pick people. Like even with Daredevil, they went the people you expected them to cast, you didn't think was gonna do good, did great. Especially Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin, like that, hands down, he's one of the best character actors ever, and he brought the King. That was the best Kingpin I've ever seen in anything. But Iron Fist, they like literally dropped the ball on Iron Fist. Like I don't know how they did it. It was terrible. It was bad and it's horrible.
It was garbage. Literally.
Garbage, yes. Very
garbage. Throw the whole, all the writers, the cat, throw it all away.
Yeah, I didn't like the Full Metal Jacket guy as Kingpin. I didn't.
Why? What's your opinion? Why is that?
It felt like he was overacting. I didn't like the way he was talking. Every time he talked, he got all like. I don't know.
He was corny to me.
I didn't dig him at all.
He came across.
So okay.
I thought
hypothetical.
Better Kingpin.
I can't sit here and say yes or no. I know they didn't give him enough time in the movie when they did the movie the first time. That's why I can't really say yes or no. I know as far as how he's built, yes. The build, yes, I agree with you. But I don't know. So hypothetical, okay, hypothetical. Living actor now.
Saying that this guy's a great fan, but when I watch him, I don't see the king. I just, he looked like the Kingpin a little bit, but the way he act ain't. I don't know. I feel like he's overacting. He not. It ain't for me.
He put on his bad guy voice.
Daredevil is awesome though.
Okay, so bringing up a question which came from B. Neal. With that being said, how do y'all feel about the Kingpin in the Spider-Verse? So Into the Spider-Verse, the animated movie of Kingpin.
I liked it. But I think I'm biased because I'm a really big fan of that movie. I felt like they got a lot of things right as far as casting goes, as far as writing goes, as far as plot goes. Like that's my favorite Spider-Man movie. That's my favorite Spider-Man. That's that.
Here's one thing I always wanted to know: why, if Miles Morales' mom is Puerto Rican and his dad is black, why is last Morales?
His dad, all of them are Spanish.
No, his dad's black.
His dad black. I thought his daddy was Dominican.
His daddy black.
His dad's black.
From Harlem.
about as black as the back of my phone.
Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
No, just Miles Morales in general. Like he,
right, but I'm talking about in the movie, in the film, Into the Spider-Verse. His daddy looked Hispanic to me, and his daddy
no, his dad's black.
Okay.
Yeah, because when they wrote
Rican.
I mean, Dominicans be black, but this guy look regular old black to me.
Okay, that's a good question.
Hold up. Let's see. Jefferson Davis Morales.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay.
I went to a middle school named Jefferson Davis.
Right. I didn't know that. I thought his name was Jefferson Davis.
I didn't realize his daddy was named after the president of the Confederacy. That's
I don't know.
Strange. And he's a police officer.
I'm gonna have to look into that. I know about Jefferson Davis. I ain't know about no.
Oh no, he said they may have changed it. You know how they have so much stuff.
And the reason I asked that is because I always thought his name should have been Miles Davis.
That would have been dope.
You know,
that would
he got Morales if his mom is the Puerto Rican. You know.
So maybe when they got married, both of them hyphenated their last name.
That's possible. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that happened. It does exist.
It does. I'm not doubting it. I mean, it happens. It happens.
I mean, that would be dope if that's what happened.
That would not.
They got married. They hyphenated both of their names. Why are you laughing, LJ?
Because as soon as you said it, Moses came back with a retort before you got done saying that would not be dope. That's why I started laughing. I'm just going to sit here and drink out my cup.
Anyway, Davis would have been a much cooler Spider-Man there. But then again, I guess if his name wasn't Morales, he wouldn't have known that he was mixed. You know, he was Dominican and black. You know?
I thought this whole time that his daddy was Dominican. So.
Matter of fact, he was Puerto Rican and black, right? Puerto Rican and black.
Well, I knew his mom was Puerto Rican, but I thought his daddy was Dominican because of his features.
Nah, that nigga daddy from Harlem.
They got
a lot of Spanish Harlem, don't get me wrong. But
yeah, I was about to say,
but he from the hood. The dad, I don't know how.
Man.
It's an interesting question. I'll ask. I got a homie that write for Marvel. I'll ask. Well, specifically write for Spider-Man. So I asked.
Right.
Let's see. We got some people chiming in.
Well, yeah, the cinematic universe, Shawana, is all about entertainment. All right, that's as long as it's gonna last. So what Shawana was saying, to me, what was interesting is they made the movie Miles better and more likable than the comic Miles. But that's because, he's the star in a film, in a multi-million-dollar film, something that cost him $100 million to make, or something like that. They gonna make sure the main character is everybody's favorite.
Well, here's what I think. Here's what I think about that. I think all of these new Marvel characters, they try like the new Miss Marvel and the new Spider-Man. They got a new what's the guy named with the sparkle in his head?
The what?
From Xandar, all them guys. Nova.
Oh,
the new Nova.
I know what you're saying because they're like they got.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I was saying the new Nova, the new Miss Marvel, and the new Spider-Man. I think it was just an attempt to make new characters, own characters that relate to, and I don't think they had a lot of.
Exactly.
Yet.
Exactly.
Introduced characters. So around about the time that the Spider-Verse came out and Miles Morales had been around for a minute, they was like, okay, now we can finally give the characters some depth. I think they just wanted to make Black Spider-Man. They can put no They didn't give no interesting backstory, you know. And now,
Well, I know they've been trying to like do so much. Like I know the biggest thing, like when they did introduce the first, when they introduced Miles Morales, everybody was kind of giving backlash, but that's because of the diehard fans don't like change. Just like when Miles Morales first came to the scene, they considered it like there's a whole parallel universe. Spider-Man actually died, and Miles Morales, when he gets his powers, watch Spider-Man fighting the Green Goblin, it don't help. So that was his whole: with great power comes great responsibility. Because he could have helped Spider-Man, but the Green Goblin killed him. And then you know how diehard fans don't like change. Just like when, as of now, Captain America is no longer Captain America. You pass it over to Falcon, but people went nuts over that because they like, why wasn't Captain America passing to Falcon? So it's like it's just change. People aren't ready for change or don't know how to expect it, especially
can we talk
diehard
about the
fans.
fact? Can we talk about the fact that the first super soldiers was black?
The first who? Oh, I know. Yeah, definitely. Because they do it during this. So, okay, real quick. Do you know that before, and I think it's before Captain America actually did the super soldier serum, it's not before it happened. But they're not going to bring it up in the movies or the new comic books. Nick Fury actually took the serum called the Infinity Serum, which had him age like slower than everybody else. So Nick Fury has been around the same time as Captain America has. And it's either because they tried to make a replica of the super soldier serum, or that was the serum that came first before they perfected it to make it the super soldier.
Right. But I'm talking about they did the glory. You see, like glory, I think. And matter of fact, the black guy that got first, his son is Captain America's protege, Patriot.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
But what I'm saying is, black folk, white folk can't get mad like, oh, they're thinking Captain America black because he was black in the first. We can be mad.
That argument is when people say like, when Finn from Star Wars was thrown as a black stormtrooper, and people would try to say there's no black stormtroopers in Star Wars, and it's like, first off, how do you even know what the hell is going on? It's a fantasy. It's an old science fiction. Like you can't sit here and talk about who's what color and what.
Not only that, they're aliens. Not only that, they're aliens.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that major key point.
Is people. So, all right, let's move on. Let's move on to another fun question real quick. Shout out to everybody too that's been tuning in. I'm just seeing a lot of comments coming in, so I try to put them up as much as I can, especially when people are chiming in. So real quick, fun question. Who do you have and why? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give y'all two characters, and y'all need to say who would you go with and why. Like who would you side with? Who would you want to be your road dog in a certain situation? Hopefully y'all know both these characters, because if not, then it's gonna mess this all up. So I'm gonna give it to y'all like this. So
as long as you're none of them weirdos that you like, right?
Say that one more time.
I say as long as you don't bring up all them DC weirdos that you like.
Yeah. Believe it or not, it has nothing to do with the comic book. Per se. So
all month, Moses.
So, and I've been going back and forth with DC and Marvel, so hush. So you find yourself in a haunted house. You about to get chased. You see a monster coming down the steps. Who would you want to have as your pet to help you out in this situation? Scooby-Doo or Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Scooby.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Why Scooby?
Because I'm gonna die anyway. If I have to depend on my pet to keep me from a boogeyman, I'm dead. You know what I'm talking about? But at least Scooby will have like laughs for me and provide comfort. Scooby's a hugger, very affectionate, and I like the way he talks. He got a dope little twang to him. He's not speaking like proper English, but it's just enough English to where I can understand him, he can understand me, and we flow. Courage is kind of like condescending and gonna make me feel like I'm the one in the wrong. Like, you're a protective animal. Like, you're supposed to be helping me out. How come I didn't know the boogeyman was even in the house? You're a dog. Bark. You know what I'm talking about? I feel like Scooby's so scary. Any rustle of the leaves, any footsteps we hear, Scooby's like, somebody's in the house. You know? That's how I feel.
I'm gonna go with Scooby because, first of all, Scooby gets shit done. You might not like his tactics. He always figure out who the. Second of all, I'm gonna go out high because Scooby always got the edibles. We all know his Scooby snacks are just edibles, you know.
That's it. Yes, we all know that. We all know that.
Yeah. And him and Shaggy be high.
I was trying to leave that part out, Moses.
Is this a kid's show? What's happening here? Because I've been up all night. If that's the case. But
you right. Somebody say Scooby gets spooked and he's leaving us in the dark. Listen, I'm already dead. There's an intruder in my house, and I'm depending on my dog to keep me safe. I'm dead. And somebody has the courage to run up in the house with the dog there, they don't care about no dog.
Yeah. Or either they know you what kind of dog you got. At least Scooby like a Doberman Pinscher or something.
I thought Scooby was a Great Dane, no?
Great Dane, but that's a big ass dog. At least I could put Scooby in front of you and kind of scare you.
That's a big dog.
Yeah, hers is a pump.
All right. So
hi, man.
I gotta go with Courage, man. I gotta go.
Courage is a whack ass name for a dog.
I gotta go with Courage. The only reason I have to go with Courage is because with Scooby-Doo, I love Scooby-Doo. Yes, I know Scooby-Doo will have edibles. I am perfectly fine with that. Y'all gonna die while y'all high. I get it. So, but the thing with Courage is that Courage literally, if he cares about you, as long as you ain't doing no bullshit, he will try to fight for you. And Courage came up with a plan to try to get people out of Dodge. Scooby gonna leave. And the only reason, when you try to say Muriel and Estes, Muriel just so free spirited, she didn't see what's going on. He got Eustace is throwing him out the house. So I can go further with that. I'm not gonna Eustace. Like, you telling me something going on and you trying to get you out the house, I'm gonna because the Courage literally will tell you, bro, we got roll. Like, we need to dip. Scooby-Doo go try to get you. You don't do that, you gonna leave. I'm just saying.
But he would be annoying me, always trying to counteract my strategy. If I'm like, I'm gonna do this and then do that, Courage is always gonna be trying to come back with the I think. Well, you know.
Texas home. Thank you. What else we got?
All right, what's the next question?
The next question. Okay, I'm gonna do a music one. I'm gonna do a music question real quick, and then I'm gonna pass it to Ebony to give us one more question, and then I'm gonna have you one more question. So this is a music question. Y'all ready? All right. So music question. The better remix. You have your choice between 112 featuring Biggie Smalls and Mace, Only You remix, or Drew Hill featuring JD and the Brat in My Bed. Which is the better remix for you in the world?
Say that again. You broke up when you said that.
All right. The choices are. Hold on 1 second. Let me change something real quick. I got you. I'm gonna repeat it. The choice was the better remix. You have either the Only You remix with 112 featuring Biggie Smalls and Mace, or the In My Bed remix by Drew Hill featuring JD and the Brat.
I'm going with because I think that was the first time I heard Mace I was like that. This right. Yeah. So, and the thing about freedom, just happy in it, but it wasn't. They first of all, they can't rap that well. The real question is, the Brad or Biggie and Mace, and I'm Biggie.
Okay. What you got, Eb?
The Brad is one of my favorite rappers, so she wins. Always.
Favorite rappers over Biggie and Mace. So you're just trying to have woman power right now.
Listen, the Brad is a better rapper than Mace.
No.
Yes.
Not at all.
The Brad.
Okay.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding?
So real quick.
Sockets to me.
Wait.
Different flows in one verse.
This is what I'm gonna do. Hey, listen up. I'm gonna let y'all debate that real quick. I'm gonna scoop myself out of this screen and let y'all debate that real quick.
No, you gotta have an opinion. I knew you was gonna do that. I told him, look here, I'll do this podcast as long as you don't let Ebony jump all over me. You gotta be the voice. She's trying to say Brett is better than me. And I think responsibility as a third party, unbiased.
I agree. He's supposed to be the tiebreaker.
Oh no, I'll be the tiebreaker on the song. That's not a problem. But so this debate about Biggie and the Brat, I'm gonna let y'all have that out.
Listen,
that's on y'all.
Is a better rapper than Mace. No matter what Moses West would like to say. Her catalog is longer. No matter what Moses West would like to say. And her flow is sicker. It's ill. Mason got that sorry, lazy, I can't open my mouth all the way. I mumble in real life.
Jackson, man, he's Southern. He's Duval. That's how we talk. We're a little slow with it.
I'm a slow friend.
The Brat rap fast like every other Chicago rapper. There's nothing cool about rapping fast. Well, not that she can't rap. Don't get me wrong.
She can't rap Mace.
I'm not saying the Brat is whack. Brat is cool. But she ain't murder Mace.
Listen, I'm not murdering Mace. What I'm saying is the Brat is a better rapper than Mace. Better rapper than Mace.
Let's just say I give you that.
If you play a Brat song next to a Mace song, he will be outrapped.
That's not true, but go ahead. I'm gonna let you have that.
I can't.
And I'm going to let you have that, but then now you gotta argue Jermaine Dupri and Biggie. And that's not fair. And if you
I don't got nothing for Jermaine Dupri.
If you even try to justify that, your opinion is
he
shot.
Dated Janet Jackson for a decade.
Huh?
He dated Janet Jackson for a decade.
What does that have to do with his ability to rap?
Oh man. All right.
Okay.
So. All right. So, and then hold on. I love it. So for me, so I said tiebreaker for the song for me. I love 112 Only You remix. I love what they did with it, but I have to say that the In My Bed remix almost sounded like a completely different song, like completely. So I would have to give it to that extent because it sounds. So I have to go with Drew Hill for that.
Jermaine Dupri can make a hit. That's something he can do very well, even if he does not rap very well.
Just had a different beat.
It had a different way of singing on it too. Like if you look at any Drew Hill remix, okay, Drew Hill did 2 remixes. Look, I know 2 Drew Hill remixes. In My Bed remix and
the harmonies
Yeah, when you hear those remixes, they sound like completely different from the original.
Do you know the rap part to sleep in my bed?
I'm not done.
I'm just
Look, I'm not. All I said was like the song better than like what's up. I'm not even talking about the lyrics. Why are you trying to bring me into this, Moses? I'm just telling you.
Hey, I bet. Biggest verse.
Ebony,
The only does not know the rap verse. Sleeping in my bed. Okay, I win.
Okay,
You win.
so look.
Wait,
Can you sit here and say that was actually a whole verse though? Because her and Jermaine Dupri went back and forth on a part.
Okay, well, what's her part though?
They
So
go back and
like,
forth a lot on her first album. On Sanctified. They
actually
go back
know
and forth.
Believe it or not. And it's not cold as me.
Moses, I'm so tired of you right now. I'm so tired of you being this debatable right now. I'm getting to that point, Moses. I'm gonna snap my fingers in a minute. Stop it.
Anyway.
Man.
Next question.
Man. All right. Yeah. So I'm the floor back to you. If you got any other question you want to ask, and then I'm gonna get back to Moses. Then I'm gonna open it up to the audience before we end the night.
Well, this is a really personalized question because I just want to know because I've gotten various feedback. So I write comic books, but I do not draw. It's not my strong point. So can I really, with all integrity, consider myself a comic? Well, I consider myself a comic writer, right? I've never professed to be a comic artist. But the word artist usually gets reserved for visual arts, even though there are multiple artistic disciplines. So like I consider the stories that I write to be art. And because I consider myself to be a literary artist, sometimes like I do express that I'm into comic arts. I write comics. You know what I'm saying? I'm a comic artist. A literary comic artist. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, is there a sense of like different? Well, is there a detachment in a way, like for fans of comics to comics who are not illustrated and storyboarded by the same artists?
No, it's actually like certain like what's the dude name? Like Michael Bendis. What's the Bendis guy name? Michael David Bendis, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, when I see his comic books, I feel like I a good story. I've never liked life. They can writer as
Right.
like people have, artists like I said about no art, but that's lingo.
Right.
All artists.
Right.
And it's certain comic books that I like them and I don't like it. Like the new Kombat with Kate Blanchett.
Oh yeah.
I love the story.
Right.
So sometimes you can be a fan of writer, be a fan of artist or cartoon, whatever you call them. But no, definitely, especially right, that's the hard part. So you definitely can send this. Right.
So I would, my fault, Mo. I would say that for that standpoint, you definitely So I get what you're saying as far as like the artist part when it comes to comics. But as far as the drawing part, I would literally not pay no attention to that because the writing part is the most. People get people get comics more from the story than they do the drawings, believe it or not. Like I mean, the drawings are good because it helps paint the picture, but the writing is literally what sells the comics. Because when you talk about comics and the comic book arts, and when people talk about it, they don't never say, "Yeah, I got it because this one particular picture was drawn a certain way." They talk more about the story. Perfect example. Former WWE wrestler now works with Fox. CM Punk. When CM Punk left wrestling, he's always been known as a big comic book nerd.
What up, Patrick?
So CM Punk is a comic book nerd, and he ended up getting asked by, I believe, Marvel to write a limited series for them based on a character. And he's never drew before in his life. He just wrote the story for the comic. So the writing aspect, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel that if you call yourself artist, like an artist, a comic book artist, then it should go with that. Because even when you come to performing spoken word artist, it's a sense of the word of how you decide how you want to describe it. And then even with that, like I don't know, because like I read because your book, I consider you more a graphic novelist than because a graphic novel is basically comic book artists put together in one big ass book. To me, that's what they seem to be. So it all depends on how you do it, but I think you're fine in your term and how you want to term it. But I wouldn't knock yourself back because you don't draw it. That make you less than.
Word. When I took myself like on the promo for the book and I went to the different cons and stuff like that, I was being asked a lot about did I draw them myself, and then when I would say no, a lot of times people would like walk away from me, like not be interested in the book anymore and stuff like that. But when I did my book release, I brought my illustrator down, who's also a blerd and also a poet, and it's also in Black on Black Rhyme. And you know what I'm saying? And he was just like, I mean, I was just happy to draw. I was happy she let me in her head because I storyboarded it. Like I came up with the concept for the visuals. I just myself, like, you know, I contracted a visual artist to execute it because, you know what I'm saying? I just feel silly being all in somebody's lane. Like, you know, playing a Japanese hero in an anime when I'm white. I don't step into other people's lanes.
I already knew you referred to, but to jump in agreement. So a couple years ago, I came out with a chapter called Blurred Lines, which was basically poems based off of like anime, comic books, and everything, taking certain topics to deal with real life, but centering them around characters that everybody grew up with, from cartoons or video games and stuff like that. So I took the chance and went to a Comic-Con like you did, and I didn't have any. And the thing with me was I had one drawing, like a comic strip the artist did, and that was it. Everything else was literally poems. But people didn't so much walk away until they saw what the poems were and read it, and then that what kept them there. So the biggest thing, so another thing, when it comes to Comic Cons, people are going to be there as long as you can talk to them and tell them reasons why you can buy your book. If you go in there with the mindset of saying that you don't think it's going to be good because you didn't draw it, then that's just one particular person. But if you tell somebody, hey, this is why I did it, enjoy the book, and you can give them footnotes like, hey, real quick, read this particular page. And if they read that page, you know it's going to get them intrigued. That gets them to buy it because at the end of the day, people ain't really going so much for the drawings; they're going for the story. I've seen plenty of people go to Comic Cons and sell stuff that has nothing to do with anime or anything whatsoever, but they just tell everybody we're just here to do this. I just like Comic Con and sell children's books that had nothing to do with any superhero characters or comic book characters or anything like that. But it just depends on like the approach. At the end of the day, it's all about the artist sale when you do a Comic Con booth. That's literally all it's about.
Word. That's all I got. What you got questions, Moses?
No.
So real quick, before we end up ending this wonderful night, I'm gonna open it up to the audience real quick. If you are out there, the audience watching on live, because it seems like you got a couple of people watching from certain platforms.
What up, Dulo?
Got a question?
I love you. Stay up.
Write a question, y'all. Write a question in our comment box. I know Ebony is doing it from her page. I know I'm doing it from my page. But if y'all got a comment, write down a comment or a question, and we'll bring it up real quick before we end out the show. If you're enjoying it, let us know you're enjoying it, because if y'all would like to see this again on a monthly basis, then we will do it again. So real quick, Monica Haynes brought this term up, and I'm going to put it on to y'all real quick. If we do this again, she was saying we need to call the show I'm not going to, so I got probably different ethnicities watching on my end. So my wife said we should call it the ninja, the nerd, and the Nubian, because at any given point we can fit any one of those.
I like
so
that.
if we rock this out again, we will call the show that from here on out. And it will be a little bit more drawn out. We'll have planned stuff, but I want to get the first one out there to get a feel for how everybody think about it. But it seems like everybody's been enjoying it.
I think that's a much better name.
I think it's a much better name.
I agree with you, but I didn't know if it was going to be a one-off or not. So that's why I wanted to just put something out there as a space filler.
Clearly,
get it out there.
Okay, of this operation.
You said that was Monica's idea?
Well, remember the original idea we talked about before?
Yeah.
And then we just added another word.
Yeah. No, I like that. So, I asked because Monica, I'm trying to hire her as a consultant. Like, she got $1 million ideas for real. How can I be down?
I'm gonna let you reach out to her at the end of the show. Just chat with her. Maybe she can help with some consulting.
I'm the Nubian. You're the Nubian.
You the Nubian.
Clearly, Moses is the Nubian.
I'm the Nubian.
Yes, you are the Nubian, Moses. It is clear as day. We got that.
Right.
Go. Right. I'm the nerdiest of us all. Clearly.
Yeah. So I guess that makes me the
ninja.
Yeah, we'll be that. So what's up? Oh, man. So real quick, before we end up wrapping up this show, I do want to give a shout out to Ebony Payne-English and Moses West for definitely wanting to do this show with me. This was an idea like
this was dope. This is something that only happens at Southern Fried, so I'm really happy that I got to do it here.
Oh yeah, this is fun. Like I said, I want to do something different, and this is something we always talk about on the outskirts of like doing a nerd slam. We just have random talks about. I was like, you know what? Let's bring these discussions out to the public and see what they think about it, and get people to join in. So we had a lot of people join in, and we can talk, like I said, we have an avenue to talk about a lot of stuff, and we can also bring people into the fold as well. So that's the other thing. So real quick, just because I love my beautiful folks, Ebony Payne-English and Moses West, real quick. If you want to follow Miss Ebony Payne-English on Instagram, then you can definitely follow her on that link that's popping up right there on Instagram. I think I said it right.
Because I'm going to post some real dope pictures of me and this beat. Look, you see I'm a thug. That's why I got my teardrops. I didn't have enough time to because LJ made us show up 10 minutes early to sound check. So I didn't have time to snap my grill in, but I was been grilling too. I got my teardrop, my grilling. Shouts out to Diana.
And if you want to follow my man Moses West, you may have to change his name to Poetry Nubian on Instagram, but that's his name on Instagram right there. So
it's okay to follow me, white people. I mean, like it's you could type it, just don't say it. You know?
But you know how they talk when they type. This poetry, P-O-E-T, right. Poetry. Oh no. Oh gosh.
I'm responsible for all the others on my page. I got them on.
Man.
Why don't you just add Moses West? Do somebody got that name or something?
Yeah, I think it's the water guy. I think.
Oh.
The water guy.
I need to follow that guy. I'm following this guy.
I mean, hey, that guy is awesome. First of all, and I wanted to shout him out, not that he ever listening, but like I used to Google myself when I was younger, and I wasn't nobody quite then. And I used to always see this brother, and he been trying to come up with a way to get clean water for many, many years. I want to go on about 15 years. And he just kind of blew up this year because he made some machine and he took it up to Flint that can make water out of like clean water, filtered water out of thin air. This guy's the truth. Black man. Scientist. His name is Moses West. This guy's awesome. Look him up.
That's dope.
He told me the story of Moses West, and I was amazed. I need to follow
I might
him.
look
I
that
meant
up.
to follow him then, but I need to do that now.
Yeah.
Definitely gotta look that up.
I see, I don't care nothing about y'all politically correct people. If you're, if my name bother you, don't fucking follow me because I'm going to say some shit. You're going to unfriend me anyway. So you might as well just
Don't follow me.
I want you to know what you're getting into upon entering my page,
I think you should have a conversation with Monica. I'm not going to say anything more. If Monica wants this consultant job, please tell her to send me the quote. What's up?
Who is Monica?
Anyway. My wife.
I thought she was talking about the white people.
Listen, LJ's wife is the most incredible poet wrangler I've ever met in my entire life.
Indeed. I thought she was talking about one of the white people that work down at the art council with her.
Oh, God. If y'all want to follow me on Instagram at ELJA Poetry. Oh, my God. ELJA Poetry. So, once again, for everybody that's out there still on the page before we end up wrapping this up, I do want to let y'all know if y'all do not know who Moses West and Ebony Payne-English are. They're phenomenal artists, musicians, lyricists, graphic novelists. They do it all. Reach out to them, friend them, learn tricks of the trade. Book them for events when all this is over, because when this is over, and it will be over, they are some traveling artists. They will come rock out and put on great shows for you. Definitely reach out to them.
And
you about to say something?
Because we're going to come back with more content. Like, Moses West and I sampled the X-Men theme song from the cartoon from when we was kids. And we have a song called X-Men. We're going to drop it. And it'll be part of the show. But yeah.
Okay, let's get it. I'm with it. So so be tuning in for the next edition of The Ninja, the Nerd, and the Nubian. As you know, I'm the ninja, the nerd in the middle, and Moses West is the beautiful Nubian brother. But we appreciate y'all taking our time on y'all Saturday to come rock out with us. Yeah, we love y'all so much. Always remember purpose over popularity. And I guess we'll go ahead and get a fan page started for this show and go ahead and start recruiting some folks. And we'll do all the shows from that page. So we'll get it started. Love y'all. Y'all take care and y'all be blessed. All right?
Love y'all.
All right. Take care. Peace.